So glad to have you here with us in the beautiful Napa Valley. I'm Reverend Jay Lang, and a welcome to all this morning. Happy Valentine's Day. I know this day has mixed feelings for some people, but I want you to know this is a safe space for us just to celebrate all of love, the divine love and all love that's circulating around this planet. So we are here for this and so much more. And a special treat today, we have Natalia Zukerman here with us, and she is going to bring us our music. And I know you've loved her in the past, so I hope you enjoy her again today. Here's Natalia.
Thank you, Reverend Jay. It's so nice to be back here. Hi, everybody. This is a song of mine called Back to the Start. To my heart, I go back to the start. And when I really listen to the wind, I'm one with everything. When I look up at the stars, I remember who we are. And when I really look into your eyes, I see desire bigger than fire. When I really listen to my heart, I go back to the start. And when I really listen to the wind, I'm one with everything. When I look up at the stars, I remember who we are. I see desire bigger than fire. When I really listen to my heart, I go back to the start. And when I really listen to the wind, I'm one with everything. I'm one with everything. I'm one with everything.
Thank you so much, Natalia. That's so beautiful. When we listen to our heart, we're one with everything. Great way to start, and a great way just to open up this service in knowing the truth of who we are in this very moment. We like to just welcome you by a blessing, and that we offer to anybody who's here listening. We raise our hands and we say, we bless you, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in this community. And so it is. And also, we like to repeat our vision and mission statement. Our vision is, we are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. We continue to affirm that on this day, knowing the truth that is always coming forth with us, that this vision and this mission are actuating, are manifesting in this very moment. A couple things today, because when it's a tradition here at the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living, when Valentine's Day falls on a Sunday, which is today, we give couples a chance to renew their vows after the service. So some of you already signed up ahead of time, which is great, but even if you haven't, feel free to come back on. We'll send you a Zoom link out, and you can use that Zoom link to come on, and we'll start at about 11:40, 11:45, and I'll walk you through it. It's nothing that you have to say or do publicly to anybody. It's privately to each other. a recommitment. So I invite any couples to join us for that after the service. Other thing I wanted to let you know about is this coming Saturday, February 20th. This is Black History Month, and there's a special celebration. And I believe it's like the 4th annual year that this has happened. And at first, the organizers of it thought they were going to have to cancel it, but they've decided to do it virtual this year. So anybody can participate. It can be on Facebook or not on Facebook. You don't have to be. So the link to sign up for it is on our website. But it's a full day of activities from 11 in the morning to 7 at night. There's reading for children, children's story time. There's different kinds of discussions and panels happening all through the afternoon. And then at 5:30, there's this dessert you can pick up that's been baked, made by Buster's, which, as far as I know, is the only Black-owned restaurant here in Napa Valley, which is hard to believe. But we want to support them and appreciate them in that way. So that it's a full day of really good conversations. And what's also good about that is it was sort of our the MLK Day of Action and Compassion program that we did virtually stimulated them to realize they could do it also. In fact, that has been, I've received so many compliments by that our center and the Interfaith Council did, that I know at Crosswalk Church, which is where the Black Lives Matter history commemoration is next Saturday, they're going to host it out of there, is showing part of the video we did here at their service, so about this time. And so I just love having this connection with the different faith communities we have. And we are already planning to do more work, more tangible work, more compassionate action, community action, and community justice work this coming year. So stay tuned for that. We also have a class coming up beginning in March that I'm teaching called Practical Mysticism. We're going to be using Carolyn Misa's book On the Inner Castle, which is also based on St. Teresa of Avila work of her mysticism and other mystics that we talk about. But it's not going to be all theoretical. We're going to bring it into the practical, how we can live from this deeper connection with Spirit in our daily life. So I hope you can join us. It's going to start virtually, and hopefully things will open enough to where we can create a hybrid class where if you want to, you can come in person, but we'll still make it available. If you want to do the whole thing on virtually, you can. Sister Spirit retreats coming up April 9th through 11th. Both Michelle Lang and Brunessa are involved in that. So I think it's going to be a virtual retreat too. Chance for you. It's been out in different counties and different times, and now's the chance where you can watch it and be part of it in your very own home. And then we're also, as numbers of COVID are dropping, we're beginning to plan when we can do in-person services. We'll start outdoors in the courtyard. We're thinking May right now. It's still hard to imagine the exact date, but we're thinking May. And we're wanting to do some courtyard improvements to prepare for those services. And there's a volunteer form online on our website under serving that gives you a chance to be able to be a part of the cleanup we're doing and ready in the courtyard, not only for services, but for other events we might have during the summer. So I appreciate you being involved in that. And then this week we continue to have weekly meditation on Wednesday, Course in Miracles, and that Michael Coleman, who is our practitioner today, will be he'll be giving the spiritual reflection, but he's leading the Course in Miracles group, as well as the mind, body, spirit recovery group that we have. So all of those things are available online, and hope you take advantage to look at that website to get some of those links and consider the possibility of attending one or more of these events. Thank you. And now we begin the sacred part of our service, and we'll go back to Natalia.
This is an instrument called a tongue drum, if you can't see it on my lap down here. And I'm going to be playing it and reading and singing a poem by a woman named Jackie Morris. If I said that my love for you was like the spaces between the notes of a wren's song, would you understand? Would you perceive my love to be, therefore, hardly present, almost nothing? Or would you feel how my love is wrapped around by the richest, the wildest song? And if I said my love for you is like the time when the nightingale is absent from our twilight world, would you hear it as a silence? Nothing? No love? Or as anticipation of that rich current of music which fills heart, soul, body, mind. And if I said my love for you is like the hair's breadth, would you feel it to be transient, so slight a thing? Or would you see it as life-giving, wild, a thing that fills blood and sets the hair running?
All right. I'd just like to invite you to the invitation right now, to invocation. And as we just go into that heartfelt consciousness, those rose petal of that bloom, that vibration, that flowering of our spirit that's coming in right now. As we just open up to that presence, that lining within our heart, our body, our being, with everything around us, that's all inclusive. We just know that that divine spirit, that divine light is there waiting for us right now as we just open our hearts up to that wisdom, that intention, that we speak with conviction, as we just allow it to come in and fill up every part of our mind, body, and soul, knowing that that spirit is alive and well in every surrounding and every encounter. And we just give thanks to this, knowing it is so. And now we go into that sacred part of our consciousness now as we just take a deep breath, allowing that spirit to just resonate with each and every part of our body as we go into the quiet and step into that solitude that surrounds each and every one of us at any time during each day. We just go into that silence right now. as we come back into whatever room or place we are right now. We just allow that energy to come forth, bring us that sunshine within our being, in our heart. Well, again, happy Valentine's Day. The Beatles said, all you need is love. And Jackie DeSantis said, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. So anyways, I just want to let you know that our heart, that petal, that rose, we have roses around us today, that heartfelt consciousness is with us each and every moment. Reverend Jay is going to be giving a talk today on the invisible love made possible. The love is more than made possible. It's felt. It's an action. It's a thought of and in oneself. We can't keep what we have unless we give it away. But first off, do I have it? Am I loving myself intentionally today? Am I a control freak, or am I governing every micromanaging move that I'm trying to make? Or maybe I'm anorexic and cut off from my source right now, and there's all those blocks up. So to have that invisible love made possible, I have to recognize it and see that it is everywhere. It surrounds me, my being, my soul, my light, in each and holy encounter that I move forth and through each and every day. Love is without boundaries and without borders. Love is that final frontier. Love is not just for the special relationships that we know about. Oh, I love that car. I love this being. I love that bird. But love is that kind of love that love is all encompassing, and love is unconditional. That unconditional source is everywhere at any time without an umbilical cord tied to it. Mother Teresa, one of the fine examples of love in action, her whole life was built on an act of love, was in her daily deeds in life. She just gave of herself and maintained that flow, the synchronicity of life in each and every movement that she did with each encounter that she had with each person. And that synchrony, by giving, you receive. To be love, we or I must teach only love. In fact, we are the peace and the love when we surround ourselves with it and put forth with it within our being and spirit each and every day. Right now, I see you healed. You're healed right now in spiritual mind treatment. We talk about it a lot here around the Centers for Spiritual Living. That mind treatment, we send out the love unconditionally in each treatment. Divine manifestation. Change your mind, change your thinking, you end up changing your life. There's one place this thought is unconditional, and it's with conviction from the heart. So how do I keep that consciousness rolling within each and every movement of my being? And how does one do this, you ask? Well, through practice. An affirmation, maybe. Sometimes we get in front of a mirror and tell ourselves we love each other, and it feels kind of foolish. But thinking positive thoughts, when we can become the observer. Being the observer is where we step back and look at how our consciousness is happening each and every day. We begin to notice that our own inner self and mind, seeing how it operates, to be that observer and to obstruct our view. We don't want it blocked anymore. We want to be able to move through that enlightenment, through that consciousness into every action that we do, by keeping universal love for all people and all things, and by returning that love to all and each and every one, including ourselves. This year, I lost 40 pounds. We were talking about before I got here. I'm so happy it's being attained. You know, that's part of loving ourselves too, staying healthy, staying wise, and what we give back in return. Keeping our loving spirit alive brings unity to our aura, that consciousness that we can give and give forth to each and every one. Our surroundings, keeping a positive outlook, positive affirmations, changing our thinking, changing our life. That's how we can keep that universal love with us each and every day. By positive affirmations, we stay in touch with the flow. And that also creates a cause and effect that goes forth with us in each and every moment and every holy encounter that we have. What we share, we shall receive. So today, as I close, we're going to have an affirmation. I still like doing the affirmation. But I am wholly and fully connected with Source, and I am in alignment. I'll say it 2 more times. I am wholly and fully connected with Source. I am in alignment. I am wholly and fully connected with Source. I am in alignment. And so it is. Go forth. Peace, baby. Thank you.
And now back to Natalia.
Hey, it's so nice to see you too, Michael. Oh my gosh. So, here's a song of mine called All That Is Revealed. And I like to think of it as a love song to the divine. So, Georgia, does this guitar sound okay? You can scribble something in the chat. Great. I just got you back. I think I'm gonna keep you in the place upon my mantle, in the hollow of my bones. You show me a world that is enchanted. You cover me with blankets, Queen Anne's lace upon my throne. I seek refuge in this place, asylum in your arms, ear against your chest, wrapped inside your heart. Every thought has a sound, every sound an overtone. Only from the deepest lonely do we find out we're not alone. You can go to the woods, you could try to find another. Love is never any better than the lover, so I'm told. To seek refuge in this place, asylum in your arms, ear against your chest, wrapped inside your heart. Oh, your courageous heart, a glove pulled inside out. All that is revealed, all that is real. I seek refuge in this place, I seek asylum in your arms, ear against your chest, wrapped inside your heart. I seek refuge in this place, asylum in your arms, ear against your chest, wrapped inside your heart, wrapped inside your heart.
So much, Natalia. So delightful to have you. Just your style of music just brings you literally into your room there. You know, like a little
Yeah.
cabin you're in.
Come
So
on in.
in upstate New York in the Hudson Valley. So it
Yes.
does sound romantic. So thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So delightful. So delightful. So welcome everybody today. This is Valentine's Day. And you know what's interesting about Valentine's Day is that it's an extra expectations here in the United States. It's celebrated around the world, but it's a little bit extra here in the United States. And if you don't know what that word is being used for people, it's not a compliment. It's meant they're a little bit above and beyond, over the top kind of situation. And so when I say extra, there is a tinge of perhaps even those people in intimate relationships, there's a lot of expectations in, and it's not, there's mixed feelings about it. And a couple stories that I heard this year about Valentine's Day is this is actually an old story because it was talking about during college days there was notices there about Valentine's Day that the students would read. So you know it's dated when you think about that. But a friend of mine was talking about how his girlfriend, was surprising his girlfriend with roses and dinners at a fancy restaurant, but they returned from their date and she was leafing through the paper to see if he had written her a note. And near the bottom of the page, it found her name was Bonnie. Bonnie, what are you looking for here? Aren't dinner and flowers enough? Love, Scott. So we're always looking for a little extra. Even when we get something, we're looking for extra. It seems to be never enough for us, whatever it is. I heard another story that was more of the accepting time, a kind of in a long-term marriage to a husband and wife. He had forgotten about Valentine's Day and realized it was too late to go find a card. And so what he had was a catalog with outdoor and gardening kind of things. And he found a picture of somebody mowing a lawn, which was his job to do around the house. So he cut out the picture, put it on a piece of paper, and then wrote, "I lawn for you, mower and more each day." Now, the truth is his wife loved that more than anything he'd ever given her because it was personal. And I think that's when we forget sometimes that it has to be more commercial. And the best thing is just to express our love for each other, whether in a romantic relationship, a friendship, a family, a connection, or whatever connection is. Just a simple statement of "I love you" is more powerful and more authentic than anything we can ever buy in a store. And as we continue this month, our theme for the month, Many Paths, One Journey, I know there's many paths of love. With family, with friends, with sometimes strangers, with partnerships, with relationships. I also know that sometimes what we learn about love, what we learn about healthy and life-affirming friendships and relationships are taught sometimes by relationships that are in contrast to that. And we bless those, and we're grateful for those as well. We know that all love is sourced in the divine. And there is an abundance of love in the universe. There's no shortage at all. And today I'm in particular talking about how this invisible love, this divine love that is all around us but unseen, requires us to make it real, to make it visible. We are the ones that are called to make it visible. Now, I also know this day is mixed feelings because sometimes on Valentine's Day we think of love lost. The statement that says, "It is better to have loved and lost than not loved at all," I think was meant about romantic love. And yet I think it also applies to family members, to relationships, to friends, to furry friends that we've lost. And it is better to have loved and lost than not loved at all. When we do let go of someone, if somebody lets go of their earthly body, it's hard at first because there's a hole left in us. And yet we know that eventually we find a new normal. We find a place where we can be grateful for the love that we had with the furry friend, the family member, the close friend or former partner. But it takes some time, I know. But I always know that it is better to have loved than lost than not loved at all. And we can always find a renewal of love within spirit, within this divine love. I continue to quote Michael Curry, Reverend Michael Curry, because I just have been really touched by his book about Love is the Way. And he talks about how God may be the source of love, but it's people that are the vessels. We are the vessels of this love. We are the ones that make it real. And only a life of love, he says, can open the gates and point the way to a beloved community. And we know that. We just need to continue to allow love to lead the way. To love lead the way, and then law makes it possible. I also go back to, I just love the the signs of mind symbol that we use in our teaching. And yet every time I look at it, and I mentioned this last week, I keep seeing the heart. Because this is the way that we're talking about. Love is the way, and this symbol of the signs of mind symbol is talking about how the infinite comes into form, the invisible becomes visible, and that's true of love too, that we experience love in the divine, and it becomes real, it becomes visible, it becomes true as we allow it to be, as we affirm it to be. Reverend Curry talked about how fire was probably the most important invention in the world. It allowed people to live in colder climates, to survive and thrive, to be migrant, to move, because fire helped them move. And then fire became the engines, the factories and the transportation. We had the internal combustion engine that makes the world go around in the physical way. It is the movement. And he compares this to the inner spark we have, the inner love we have, that is just as transformative, just as creative, can move us and create change, can create this beloved community in the same way. But it's us allowing this love and being aware of this love that keeps us ignited, that keeps us creating from this place of love, that allows us to create and be love, to beloved community in this way. And I think how we keep this love ignited in us, the first one is to tune into the frequency of love. Tune into the frequency of love. Do you know that love actually has a hertz level that can be measured in a tuning fork or a singing bowl or the Gregorian chants? They are at this hertz level, this frequency of love. And then it's been measured and studied to the point where they did a double-blind study that found out this: if we listen to this heart music at this hertz level, 528, I think it is, it can create a greater immunity system in our bodies. And it's been measured to do that it developed white blood cells, the antioxidants, as they're called. And it develops this resiliency. And I also know the work of heart math that is measured that when we activate this, less about a sound for them, it's more about an experience of heart that we create by imagining times we've been loved or when we love somebody, that it creates this kind of immune response to, as well as feelings of contentment and joy and seeking to help others, empathy and compassion, that just by activating, making our heart coherent, as it's called, at this heart level, it does make a difference. So if we're able to have this frequency of love in our lives, it can positively affect our lives, our environment, and our relationship. A colleague of mine, when I was a minister at Mile High Church in Lakewood, Colorado, which, if you don't know, it's one of our mega churches in New Thought, a part of our Centers for Spiritual Living. Her name is Cynthia James. Cynthia James, Reverend Cynthia James, she's just she was my teacher. She taught me how to better speak in church. She's just an incredible speaker, incredible transformative person in classes and workshops. Right now, she's doing most of her work as a speaker with workshops primarily with women, empowerment. Just amazing. Now, she had an interesting life before she came to New Thought. She was actually a soap opera actress. I think Days of Our Lives is what it was. I can't remember right off, but she married a Hollywood leading man They had children together, this storybook marriage, but it didn't have a happily ever after ending. It ended in divorce, or rather, what people call an ugly divorce that was part of the tabloids in Hollywood, of course. And she left it pretty dejected about her romantic view of the world and how things are supposed to be. As many of us who have gone through losses or some sort of proverbial train wreck in our life, she ended up at a New Thought church. In this case, it was Agape International Center with Reverend Michael Beckwith, amazing minister, amazing church. And she began to learn how that relationships are a pathway of discovery. Not only just love relationships, but relationships with family and friends, our children, our other work relationships. All our relationships are a pathway to discover. And she found, being mindful of it, how she was having challenges with staying open and connected during these relationships, all relationships, especially when they got to be uncomfortable. And she wanted to just run away. And she realized she had this push and pull, because while she wanted to step back from the discomfort, from the pain, she also desperately wanted to be seen, loved, honored, and respected. And she had this push-pull. And she had such high expectations of what these relationships were supposed to be. But she learned through New Thought that, first of all, these relationships are a mirror of our consciousness. Relationships are a mirror of our consciousness. So she realized she could not create a loving relationship, any loving relationships, until she was the love that she was seeking. Until she was the love she was seeking. And this is just a powerful thing to think about, that first we create the love within us. We know the love, and we can find it with Spirit, with our relationship with Spirit. And we stand in the fire of love in our relationships. Not that we want to stay in unhealthy relationships, but within all relationships, it reflects back to us that which we know, that which is our consciousness within us, and allows us to explore this, to allow relationships to be the growing edge for us, to learn from them, and to be willing to go deeper if that's what we're being called for in this relationship, not to be just because it's uncomfortable or painful, or because we have to discover something about ourselves. So it's activating this love frequency to tune into, not only thinking of it as a sound, but an experience, and tune into this love, the love vibration, if you want to call it, the love train that we can attune to and be this love within us. And then, like Reverend Cynthia talked about, that we can discover love and relationships once we are love within ourselves. And as I talked about last week, this includes loving ourselves and experiencing love within us. So as we go forth in this idea of love and opening to love, we need to remember that love is always calling us forth, calling us to open and be authentic and be real in relationships, all relationships. And the question is, are we willing to dance with this divine love? Are we willing to say yes to love in our lives, and willing to go through our own discomfort in this way? Michael Beckwith, who I mentioned a minute ago, who is the minister of the Agape International Spiritual Center, said, do you press the pause button, the until button in life by saying, I can't be happy until? Press the play button and rejoice in the nowness of the moment. So are we pausing to get the okay that it's okay to love, waiting for someone to love us before we love them? Waiting to feel safe and comfortable before we're willing to be loving? But that's not the way love always works. That for us to open up to love is what Spirit calls us to be. Like a Orion Mountain Dreamer that says, let yourself be one of the God-mad, faithful only to the beauty that you are. You don't have to have anybody affirm your beauty. We are all beautiful. Our inner beauty, the truth of who we are, the authenticity we are. Let the lover pull you up, she continues, to your feet and hold you close, dancing even when fear urges you to sit this one out. Dancing even when the fear urges you to sit this one out. In this case, the lover is not an intimate partner. It is just anybody who seeks to love you, who you seek to love. And the question is, are we willing to dance even when the fear urges us to sit this one out? We want to say yes to this infinite, invisible energy that is love. And we know this within us. There is enough love in this world. There's not a shortage of it. Now, there are times we need to take care of ourselves and make sure that we are full of self-care to love ourselves in that way. We don't want to give away our own energy in that way until we are renewed. Lisa Nichols talks about that as being saucer love. So, which doesn't mean depleted, but you fill up your saucer first, and there's so much that's sourced in the divine. It's not like we're creating this ourselves. So there's always an overflowing cup, and we give our love to others out of this overflowing love, this overflowing joy that we have, this gratitude and knowing that is always there, and we can always refill ourselves. At times we need to take time to do that refilling, but there's always enough to do that with. And my next question is so the first one is, will you dance with love? And the second one is, will you be thine? Kind of a play on words about the traditional Valentine's Day question that school-age children say, will you be mine, on the little candy hearts and things like that. But this is, will you be thine? Are you committed to Spirit? Are you committed to a deeper connection with Spirit? Or at least a willingness to be in this connection. The mystics like St. Teresa of Avila actually experienced a divine union, a marriage with Spirit. Now, metaphorically, that's just a masculine and feminine coming together and in this union. Now, that may be a little woo-woo for you. The truth is, just to be willing to connect with Spirit on a deeper level opens you up to a greater life of love. A greater life of love that creates this beloved community. I remembered when I first started driving, I lived in Texas. I was born and raised in Texas. And they had these ice storms, which they've been going on this week if you've been watching the news. When you're right at the freezing line where it falls as rain, but then freezes when it hits the road, you can have roads that are covered with a half to a full inch of ice, just like an ice skating rink. So it's very, very scary to drive on them. And so when I first learned to drive, we called it white knuckling, where I would just be gripping the steering wheel so tight that my knuckles would quit circulating, right? And I'm thinking that as a metaphor for life, because at that time I was white knuckling my whole life for fear that I would not be loved, or that I was not worthy of love, or I was not a person who could love other people. And it left me actually, just like driving, it's not the best way to drive, because we make overreactions or underreactions, jerky decisions, and we do that in our lives, or white knuckling it as well. Corrie ten Boom, the Dutch helped people save Jews during the Holocaust. She had a quote that has been pivotal in my life. She says, "Is God your spare tire or your steering wheel?" Is God your spare tire or your steering wheel? Well, at that time in my life, when I was white knuckling so much, it would be a flat tire that I would have, a proverbial flat tire, before I would turn to God, before I would surrender and turn to prayer. I remember I was at one point in my mid-20s, I was struggling with a relationship. There was a lot of pain. We had a life together. I didn't want to leave that life, but I didn't know how to work it out. And so I just surrendered completely. Come to find out, I had a part in creating the problem in that relationship. Imagine that. And I didn't hear it. I couldn't see it until I just softened around it and allowed it revealed to me. We ended up having a relationship. We came back to the love and joy we enjoyed. I remember another time that I was struggling with my job and was stuck with that and not feeling stressed and a lack of fulfillment. And I turned to God. It was that flat tire again that got me to turn to God, surrendering to God. And it was revealed to me a new career path towards school counseling, which made all the difference in the world for me. And then I began to connect the dots. I'm going, wait a minute. So if God is there when I surrender, when I need to repair my tire, God's probably there all the time, right? So I begin to allow Spirit to be the steering wheel in my life. Allow Spirit to guide me to be there. And what I found is when I did that, life was more graceful. The bumps, there were still a few bumps, but they were less intense and they were smoother and graceful ways to find new ways of doing things. And also, Spirit revealed to me that which needed to be let go of, the beliefs that no longer served my life, that I could let go of easier. Now, since then, not all my relationships have lasted, not all my jobs have lasted. There's not been a perfection, but there's been a grace in all things. There's been a love that has been throughout this. And even when it's time to part, when it's time to let go of a job, there's been a healing around it, a natural order to it, not forced like I used to do it, not when I was white knuckling it. There's a softness that I am mindful now, driving or in life, that I allow enough room, enough softness in me to allow Spirit to come through, to create something new when it's called for, and to be tenacious and hold fast for something when that is being called for also. I know the Spirit reveals in us that which is true. Ernest Holmes said, we believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with indwelling God. And what's wonderful about Spirit, about God, is that it is not there to, if it's been a long time since you've connected with Spirit, it doesn't go, well, I don't know if I'm interested in hanging out with you anymore. You haven't said hello to me in a long time. Spirit is just there going, okay, now you want to connect? Great. Let's talk about this. Let's do this. So whether it is a spare tire or a steering wheel or somewhere in between, that is fine. Just know it's available. The love is there. The connection is there. The guidance is there when available. This week, we start the Lent season for some traditions. We're going to do a 40-day affirmations that's going to start next week. Because actually, Lent season is 46 days long. I never really understood that. Sundays aren't counted, so we're going to do actually 40 days. So in this center, every day counts, not, I think especially Sundays, right? But either way, know that we're going to be sending you emails next week, and I'll talk about it next Sunday as well, to develop that 40 days of practice before Easter time. And the final thing I want to talk about today is just being the love. And I think this is important, that we connect with something greater, that we are this love. We are this truth. And when we are, there's a natural consciousness we are, that people are attracted to us, and relationships are deeper and more profound. Lisa Nichols, that we talked about last week, I love this quote. Do you realize that your love, your peace, your joy, your bliss can be so powerful in you that it becomes contagious, and people just want to be around you and they don't even know why? This love, this joy, this peace is contagious. It catches on. This is the kind of contagious I want to be a part of, right? And we know that this beloved community that we're seeking to have, as we step forward in creating ways for all people to be a part of this, that some of the conversations we have, some of the connections we have may not always be comfortable, because we need to go through past hurts, past history, and our own belief systems. So as we continue to connect with people, sometimes we make missteps, there's no doubt. It comes out of ignorance. It comes out of assumptions, out of beliefs we have. But the only way, to get back to what Cynthia was talking about, the only way we're going to know that is to be in relationship, and to stay in the fire, to stay in the relationship, to stay connected in this way, so that we can learn from it, so there can be a transformation. During the Martin Luther King virtual celebration we did a number of interviews, and if you didn't see those interviews, I think they were very powerful. It's not about us, it's about listening to the dialogue that happens there. And there's going to be more this Saturday, and I hope you're a part of that. But I wanted to play a piece from one of the people we interviewed, and this man's name is James Thompson, JT as he's known, and he's actually the person who is the primary leader of this Black History Month celebration this Saturday. And I loved what he talked about, that sometimes we're going to say things, we're going to misstep our words, especially white people, because out of ignorance, we don't know, or I will say all three of mine, a male, straight, and white. And I come with assumptions, and I'm so happy to let people know when I've made a misstep. And here's what JT says about it that I think is just wonderful.
Also know that you're going to mess up. You know, you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. And that's part of the process too. This stuff is, this work is, it's ugly. It's hard. It's going to hurt. And know that it's not perfect. And I know I don't expect folks to be perfect. And I quite honestly would rather someone try 100% and end up messing up, because just that that effort means a lot for me. And so just knowing that it's not perfect, and it's going to be ugly, and it may not sound right, look right, feel right, but that's part of the process.
Yeah. So this idea that it's part of the process as we come together. And the truth is that Spirit needs us, because we are the manifestation of its love. We are that love made real, that love made visible in the world. Ricky Byers-Beckwith has a song about use me. God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. I stand for you. I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And it's his willingness, it's his allowing Spirit to be the steering wheel more often, doesn't have to be all the time, but more often, that allows us to be this vessel that Reverend Curry talked about, that God is the source of love, and we are the vessel that allows us to be this vessel. So let us spend today, Valentine's Day, and every day in this openness, this willingness to be this love. Let us go to prayer. We know that Spirit is all there is. And in this moment, we are grateful for this, because we know the love that God is always available to us. And we fill up our cup to overflowing. And we allow this overflowing to be a contagion in the world for joy and bliss, compassion, equity, equality, all things that are overflowing, that are Spirit calling us to a greater expression of love. For this, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for the expression of love in this community and for all things being true. We know this to be so, and so it is. Now back to Natalia.
Wow, thank you. So many nuggets of beautiful wisdom.
Think about it. There must be a higher love down in the heart or hidden in the stars above. Without it, life is wasted time. So look inside of your heart and I'll look inside of mine. Things look so bad everywhere. In this whole world, what is fair? We walk blind and we try to see, falling behind in what could be. Bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Where's that higher love I've been thinking of? Worlds are turning and we're just hanging on, facing our fears and standing out there alone. A yearning, and it is real to me. There must be someone who's feeling for me. I could light the night up with my soul on fire. I could make the sun shine from pure desire. We walk blind and we try to see, falling behind in what could be. Bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Where's that higher love we've been thinking of? Yeah, bring me a higher love. Oh, bring me a higher love. Yeah. Bring me a higher love. It's the higher love I keep thinking of. Think about it. There must be a higher love down in the heart or hidden in the stars above.
So wonderful. You got us rocking out here.
Yeah, sing along.
I love that arrangement and the higher love. There is a higher love. Thank
For
you
sure.
so much, so much. So I want to let you know a couple things is we have new Science of Mind magazines in for, March, I guess now. But we still have some left from February, although the daily affirmations, it's going to be mid-month, but it's got some great articles about Black History Month in the February one, Harriet Tubman, And then March, of course, is Women's Month. And there's some great articles about that, open to possibilities. So both of those are available in the courtyard here. You can come pick one up and keep abreast with those. And then I also want to thank people for their donations, either electronically or things you've mailed into us. We sure appreciate the donations. And what I know is that which you've given comes back to you, because that is the law of circulation. So we affirm that today, knowing that divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I am, and all that I circulate. And so it is. Thank you for being a part of that. We also bless our children. I drove by one of our local schools and I saw children there with their mask on, and it's sad and yet cute at the same time. Parents are waiting for their kids to come 6 feet apart. I guess that's what it is. And the kids are in school, which is good. I think part-time is what it is right now. So we bless you right where you are with a simple affirmation. We love you, we care about you, and we're here for you. So if you want to be part of the renewal of your marriage, please find the link. I'll send it out on email and text. It's our normal community Zoom time. And also, we need witnesses, right? They're supposed to have witnesses to marriages. So, other people, please come on and bear witness to the recommitment of these vows. We'd love to have everybody there. And I'll send that on email and text, and available to you probably in your chat there as well. So finally, just our community affirmation. So repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by Spirit.
I am led by Spirit.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am protected by love.
I am protected by love.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am so grateful.
I am so grateful.
And so it is.
So it is.
Mazel tov for all of you renewing your vows. Sing along if you know it.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with your heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, but you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak? And when you open it to speak, are you smart? Well, don't change your hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay, for today is Valentine's Day. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak? And when you open it to speak, are you smart? Don't change your hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay, for today is Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Natalia, for being with us. And I just bless us as we go out into the world, being this love and being this vessel for Spirit. And so it is. Thank you for joining us today.